Well, today is a big day for upgrades. We're gonna go full brake upgrades on the FZ09, because anybody that rides an FZ09 knows that there is some flaws. This kit was provided, I bought it from fucking truck. From Stoltec Moto. Basically, it's the R1-R6 16mm Brembo master cylinder kit. There it is. There it is. And I took the Brembo reservoir as well. That, and might as well, since I'm there, do the brake lines and, you know, brake pads and levers, you know, while I'm in it. So the big reason that why I'm doing the master cylinder instead of just doing lines and brake pads, that is a quite good combo, is when I did the clip-on, the stock master cylinder reservoir is solid and it comes in contact with the bars, so the, you know, the levers are a little bit more forward than I would like it to be. And that's not as I want to be like here. It's a bit too much. And you know, like the oil is due, so in a minute I'm gonna do it all. And on the back end, I'm just doing the brake line and the oil change, because the stock brake pads in the back are pretty strong enough. You can lock up the rear brake anytime, so I'm not gonna mess with that. In the front, I want more feel, more power, and better position. So we're gonna get on wrenching. I'm gonna start off in the back because I'm testing new tools. And this little thing to bleed the brake yourself with the air compressor that I have, and I'm gonna see if it works. Well, updates. The back is done. Did change the line. Oil level is right in the middle where it should be. And brake pedal feel. Man, it feels good. So I'm actually glad I started with the back, because now I have learned that this little vacuum bleeder, it's good to empty out the lines, but bleeding itself, it's not that good. This fitting is supposed to sit on the bleeder nipple, doesn't really like click and seal, so there's always air coming in, so we'll never know when you're gonna be really done. So maybe like to pull the big part in the line, like the first shot, it's good, but after that, the good old pump hold does the trick. And the lines, well, I had to rotate this fitting, but Spriegler gives you these little clamps and this little plastic bar to turn it around. I did use a vice grip to hold it in place, it did the job. Actually, it's quite easy. Now to the big stuff in the front. That's going to be more involved than in the back, because I am actually changing the master cylinder and the lines and the pad. So I took off the front fender because I don't want any oil on this beautiful carbon piece, because brake oil will eat through paint and clear coat like nothing else. Well, little update. Instead I took everything off, master cylinder, lines, everything, before doing the pads. I finished the pads right now. The montage is not going to be that exciting. It's pretty much me going back and forth my toolbox and figuring out how they work, because these little calipers, my first time working on a bike, and they're a little bit like Brembos on a car, like the sliding pin style. And I haven't worked on those in a decade, so it was a refreshment course. Overall, they're pretty easy to do once you know what you're looking at, and I'll take you through it slowly. First of all, you need to take off the two big bolts right here, and then once you have the caliper in hand, before the pin can slide out, you have these little cutter pins to remove. I had a hard time because these two were pushed in way too far, so I couldn't reach them out, and the other side was fine. So that may explain why I had a little bit of a squeak noise. I took off the lines, and you're gonna need to reuse this little brake switch for the new master cylinder. The brake switch is really like here. From marking, this is a 15mm semi Brembo, only the cap is stamped and not the whole casting. This is a every Stoltec, every clamp from Yamaha. That's so cool. Like the stock, the new one is a Brembo, and it's a, let's see the marking here, Brembo. It's I believe a 16mm, so maybe from a R6 or R1 from certain years. On the brake side, if you can keep your stock or your aftermarket brake lever, but you need to switch the pivot because it's a different size on this master cylinder than the stock one. Behold, the master cylinder is in place. It took me 2 hours to get it like this, and I'm gonna show you how, like, my setup, because there's always a kink. Like now it seems all right. You're gonna put a back bracket from Brembo on top, and then over your cables. And instead of doing like what they say in the instructions, put the rubber on a metal plate, the bolt on top, and a washer and the nut on the bottom. It's the only way you can get as close as you can. Any other way, you're gonna get a kink in the line. Really, I am so tired of this. Really took me like 2 hours tried to like switch it from here to here to get some play with the cables, relate the cables around, flip this, try a whole bunch of things, cut it apart, because I tried to put it in between here. Then it was perfect, but you know, the whole thing rotated because, you know, circumference wasn't the same anymore. So right now it's as straight as it can be. The levers are a little bit more downward than I would have liked, but that's what you get. Yeah, it's long, it's tedious. I hope it's worth it. Well, for the last part, I'll take you along, like really taking you along. I'm gonna start with the brake lines. Shouldn't be too hard. That's what I said about the master cylinder. And I'm not even done yet. Just noticed I didn't put the brake switch on. Kind of important. I guess left is on the bike. And now the brake line went here. This grommet. Down the hang-down light. Caliper. I'm getting tired, people. Really tired today. Interesting fact we just learned. The brake switch isn't what it doesn't work how I thought it does. There's a little button here, a little switch on and off, and I was sure that like the brake lights turns on when you press on it. It's the opposite. As long as there's pressure on it, no brake lights. And when you release, then you have brake lights. So that's how it works. Okay.